So welcome. We'll also be recording today's session for anybody who is unable to attend, and we'll post the recording along with the deck on our webpage with the other resources. And just a couple of quick reminders about the meeting. If you wouldn't mind entering your name and your organization's name in the chat for roll call. In addition to that, on your little Zoom window, you can update your name and your organization, or you can be incognito if you prefer. We'll continue to record these sessions. If you have an issue with that, just let us know offline. And, you know, we definitely encourage video on, especially if we're chit-chatting. So it's encouraged, but not required. I know it's an earlier morning meeting, so no judgment. And as folks go in and enter their name and organization in the chat, for anybody who's just joining, name and organization name in the chat. And we'll just do a quick intro. My name is Denise Donato. I'm one of the co-facilitators. We're going to spend, no, the agenda slide is fine, Emily, sorry about that. We'll spend a couple of quick minutes doing an instant replay of February. We'll talk a little bit about some CalAIM updates. We'll continue to keep these CalAIM updates in all of our meetings. In addition to that, today we'll spend the majority of the time talking a little bit about the AIM statements that you all voted on and working through how different ideas and activities that we can do together as a collaborative sort of help get us closer to that aim. So we'll be spending the majority of our time today in breakout sessions, having conversations about different things that we could do in the community, different things maybe that are opportunities, issues, things that we're struggling with, things that are happening that are amazing. So we'll be talking about those in our breakout sessions today, and then we'll wrap things up with next steps and additional resources. I also have with me here Mariah. You guys should be familiar with Mariah, and Emily. Emily's driving the bus today, so you'll see different messages from Emily in the chat. And if you have any questions or if you have any issues along the way, you can definitely reach out to her, and we'll get you the support you need. We have a few folks, other folks, Intrepid folks and Health Leads folks on the call today. I'm assuming that you all have introduced yourself before, but just in case, Danny Carter, who's the executive sponsor here at Intrepid, and Lauren, I don't see you on my screen. Can you do wave for me?
Hi, I'm here.
Here we go. Lauren from Health Leads and Lauren Wood, our project manager from Intrepid, is also on the call today. All right, let's get started. Quick community announcements. We'll try and do this throughout the course of our monthly meetings. We'll also try and publish these on our website. So if we need to, from a resource perspective, if you all have, or your organization has something that you want to share with the rest of the collaborative, feel free at any time to let us know via email, and we'll make sure that we add this to the list for community announcements. What we have here are two quick contacts for the payers. We'll also post this information on our website as well. And this is specific to contracting and provider relations. So if you have issues or questions about ECM or community supports, this is our start to kind of increase transparency and make sure that we all have the contact information that we need. In addition to that, we've started to craft a network map. And so for those who participated in the coffee chat, you were able to see an advanced draft of our network map, and we'll pull that up on the screen for you. But we'll also have a link to this on our website as well. It's definitely not that small. You can zoom in or out. And as organizations contract or as changes happen in the community, we'll use this as a way to connect the dots. And so it's still fairly small on my screen. Emily, I don't know if we can make it any bigger. Thank you so much. Boy, am I dating myself. Emily made fun of me earlier this week, folks, because I said that the font on the slide deck pages had to increase. So so what you see before you is a network map. We're working with both of the payers to get as much information as possible to kind of connect these dots. So we'll share this link with you guys and also ask for some feedback on the network map. If you use the link in the chat, thank you, Danny, you can pull up this network map on your desktop so that you can kind of play around with it. You can zoom in or zoom out in a certain area. And then you see that there's a legend in the bottom left where we have done our best to try and identify managed care plans, ECM community supports, and some that are both, and some that are either or. So again, this is a start to kind of visualize the network landscape. If you have any questions, feedback, good, bad, or otherwise, we really want to hear it. This is meant to be a tool and a resource for us. So if it's not working, we want to know, and we're going to do the best that we can to work with you all to keep this updated, and then to iterate over time so that it works for the community. Next slide, please. Okay, I'm going to hand things over to Mariah. We're going to take a mini break before we get into the work. And Mariah is going to talk us through her icebreaker exercise today.
Okay, so last month we did an icebreaker. We did a trivia icebreaker, and so since that seemed to go so well, this time we're gonna do another trivia, but it's going to be based on music. So, Emily, is it all ready to go? Is everybody logged into poll everywhere? Hopefully, these are going to be some real throwbacks here. So hopefully everybody's going to know them. All right. One of the greatest blues artists sings this famous tune. Okay, so we're out of time. Emily kind of gave away they're 50, ooh, it's 50-50. Is Smokestack Lightning by Howling Wolf. I was hoping that you will all hear the howling part in the song. That's why I tried to, but no. Oh, there's only 2 people playing? What happened?
To participate in the exercise, you just click that live poll in the chat link.
Do we need to put the chat?
I think for me, this is Lene. For me, it was that I didn't know like when to select the like it closed before I knew because the song ended and then it was closed at the same time. But I don't know if everyone else felt the same way.
Hey, can we go back and do it again?
Well, let's do the next one. Let's do the next one. All right, so at any time while you're listening to the song, you can select your vote.
Let me go to the next one. Okay, according to the Rolling Stones, the 3rd greatest country singer of all time sings this tune.
I keep the ends out for the ties that bind because you're mine.
Okay, we have people clicking. I see it in the corner.
I find it very, very easy to be true. I find myself alone when each
We're
day is
closing
through.
it, and we're gonna see what the results are. Oh, look at that. Okay, now, okay, this looks much better.
Success. All
Good.
right.
Okay, we got one more, and then we're gonna see who the winner is. Okay, the number one singer of all time, according to Rolling Stones, sings this tune.
What you want, baby, I got it. What you need, you know I got it. All I'm asking is for a little respect when you come home. Hey, baby, just a little bit.
All right, I think all of the votes are in. It's stopping at 13. Okay. And the results are... Woohoo! Everybody knows. Okay. And then we're gonna see who the winner is. I don't know who that is. Do you know who that is? Who is user web D49E8? If we can't figure out what that is, the winner by default is gonna be Carissa. Two people who, so we're gonna figure out who the winner is, and then Emily, you can go to the next slide. Okay, so last month's trivia winner was Amy Anderson from Aliados Health, and then this month's winner, we don't know who it is, but it's either the person who has the random name or Carissa, and both of you will be receiving a gift card for participating in our madness and having some fun with us before we get started in the very serious work that we're here to do. So thank you. Denise, take it away.
All right, thank you so much, Mariah. We'll try and do these in each of our monthly meetings as a way to kind of break away from some of the other work that we're doing, like Mariah said. So let us know if these are fun for you. We're going to try and do different things each month. We're trying to make them as interesting and different as possible. If I do another icebreaker, no, some of them are we've done them a gazillion times. So we're really trying to think out of the box and be as interactive as possible, but let us know how you feel about it. We're also trying to schedule out our coffee chats between now and the rest of the year. So for those of you who didn't attend the coffee chat, these happen outside of the monthly meetings. They're completely optional. We'll use this time for any number of things. Advanced feedback on some of the things that we want to talk about in our monthly meetings. We may do some networking. We may pose some questions to the group. And so we'll continue to send these out through a meeting invite. And if it's convenient for you to attend, please do. They're not heavily agenda focused. But we'll try and keep them somewhat structured. But again, like I said, some networking, some advanced review of the materials, and feedback. So we're working on scheduling those now between now and the rest of the year. And then today, this was for review. This is what we did in the March coffee chat. We reviewed some of our draft goals, change ideas, and measurement strategies. We're going to get into the weeds a little bit more today. Thank you, Emily. I'm not going to spend too much time on the CalAIM updates. They'll be here in the slides for you. This is a slide we'll continue to share. It'll be in all of the decks for each month. Just as sort of a reminder of obviously CalAIM, what we're trying to do with our PATH collaborative. And we'll also share with you some resources that have been shared with us around ECM and community supports data across the state. We're trying to confirm now if we can get this content on a more frequent basis. As we do that though, this is very helpful as far as data goes. I don't know, we have a link here, but I'll say this, I'm sort of a story person. So if somebody tells me a story about the impact of the work that they're doing, it's really gonna resonate with me. But for some people, the data really makes the most sense. And so we're gonna try and talk through, you know, the different change ideas that we have, the things that we wanna do as a community, and then also measurement strategies, right? So a way to kind of really think about the impact and then the measurement of that impact. This data is statewide, and then that ECM NCS fact sheet is statewide. We have asked a question of DHCS, which was, can we get this information broken down by county? So we're waiting to hear about that. And we're also waiting to hear about the frequency of this fact sheet to see if it's something that'll be supplied on a quarterly basis or once a year, that kind of thing.
Denise, can I ask a quick clarifying question on the community supports? Because I've seen this presented multiple times in different venues, and it's never clear to me on the community support. I know you say members receiving it, but sometimes it's presented as total community supports and members could be receiving more than one community support. So really clarifying, because at another CPI that I'm in, their wording is total community supports received and not per member. So just that, because you can only get one ECM, but you could get, in theory, multiple community supports. So really trying to figure out like how many people are being served. I think there's value in that.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, Amy. We'll take that back and see if we can get that additional clarity. And I think there's a couple of other comments, questions in the chat too. I'm not tracking, so if somebody wants to call them out. Is there data on people lost? Yeah, this is a really good question, Catherine. I don't know the answer to that, but I think it's certainly worth us exploring. People for those programs who have not transitioned. Okay, and thank you, Danny. At least across the state, we do have that information. So we'll see if that's in the ECM and CS fact sheet. Danny, thank you. And we'll also double check and confirm. Okay. Again, we'll continue to share Calium updates, funding updates, other things that are happening as far as the data goes. And we'll continue to share those in our monthly meetings. And I think then the next thing that we're going to do is get ready to talk a little bit about the work that we're going to do today. So I know that we've talked about QI methodology in the past. We also have a QI methodology cheat sheet for those maybe less familiar with quality improvement methodology and the breakdown of the activities. We have that cheat sheet, and that is a resource that if you don't have it already, we'll include it in our materials that we'll email you from today along with the survey. So just to kind of get things started, what are we doing? How are we applying this methodology to our work? The idea of quality improvement is that continuous reevaluation. And so what we've really kind of been trying to dig into over the past couple of months, and what will continue to sort of help frame us in some of the work that we're doing, is our aim statement, our goal. What are we trying to accomplish? And can we state that in a measurable way? And can we sort of put a box around it to a certain degree? And in the last 2 weeks, we sent out a survey from the data that we collected from this group, and we asked folks to vote on the AIM statement and see if that really made sense to this community. What we'll be doing today is looking at how that AIM statement and the feedback that you all had and what was voted as the AIM statement then attaches to a driver diagram, really thinking about the principal drivers in our approach to our AIM. So principal drivers, activities that will help us accomplish our goal. And then the change ideas are the activities that influence those buckets, right? So instead of thinking about this really big box, how do we actually start to compartmentalizing the work and the activities that really is going to push us forward? If we sort of just say, to a certain degree, we want to change this thing, it becomes really big, and we can't necessarily kind of chip away at an iceberg. What we want to do is we want to think about activities, and they could be small activities, they could be larger activities, that really kind of help us, kind of start to take a step forward and 2 steps forward to really achieve that end goal. So in a nutshell, that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be talking about change ideas. And the next 2 slides, I think, are going to show us, so this is the AIM statement that everybody voted on. By December 31st, we want to accomplish these things. We want to facilitate engagement. Engagement's always a plus. I know it's first thing in the morning. I'm trying to be funny. It's maybe I need more coffee. We want to facilitate and foster engagement, right? It doesn't work if we're not all in it together. And we want to do that and measure that in a few ways. So we want to be able to say that we've increased the percentage of ECM eligible individuals enrolled by services at 10%. So that's where we said, okay, we're going to put a box around it. We're going to try and measure this in a way. And then the same for CS eligible individuals enrolled in community support services. Okay, so how does that translate? So the next thing that we did was we put this into sort of the beginning stages of a diagram. So we want to achieve this goal, and that's the AIM statement that you see all the way on the left-hand side of your screen. And we've put into that 5 different categories of work, primary drivers, that will help us achieve our aim. And we're not going to spend too much time today on secondary drivers, but we've sort of taken those 5 categories and we've broken it down a step further so that you guys can kind of think about different activities, change ideas that will help us make an impact on data standardization, that will help us make an impact on document standardization, that will help us make an impact on service expansion and transition. So I think we sort of did a little translation here. For our primary drivers, what are we saying? So when we say we want to look at service expansion and transition, we sort of took all of the feedback that you've all given us thus far and sort of created these categories. But this is sort of what we mean when we say service expansion and transition. We're talking about maybe identifying a plan for building the ECM and community supports provider network. We're talking about that Kumu map and how we can keep things transparent and how we can update it and how we can collaborate so that we have a complete picture of what exists in Contra Costa. When we talk about data standardization, we're talking about, could we create a plan for how we get providers and managed care plans the data that they need and want? What can we do to create some sort of a data standard, minimum data set? And the same for documentation. Everybody sort of has a different way of doing things. Different managed care plans have a different way of doing things. what could we do to find some sort of documentation, universal documentation requirements, maybe some things that could be same or similar from a billing perspective. These are all things that we'll talk about to see if we can make an impact in. And the example of how we'll do that in our breakout sessions today is you'll be placed in a breakout room for a primary driver. And then we're going to ask you to come up with 1 to 3 change ideas, things that you could change that would make an impact in data standardization. So, and they don't have to be like, you know, absolute. The idea in the breakout session is for you all to talk to each other and think through different things, maybe different problems that you're experiencing that would make an impact on that primary driver. I'm going to pause for a quick second here and see if there's any questions. And Mariah or Danny, if you have any additional comments, clarifications that you think would sort of support our activity today.
I did wanted to provide some additional like instructions for the breakout rooms. So for the change ideas, there are already some that have been already created and developed. So when you go into the breakout room, you're going to have the Google Sheet like Denise said, and then we've provided the primary driver and then the change ideas that we've already started to brainstorm based on the sessions that we've had already. And so when you get into the group, you're going to be able to either modify it or you're going to be able to say I just don't like it and then add your own. We ask that you don't add a whole bunch because we're at some point we're going to have to try to combine all these and put them into one. So the things that you decide like as you're going through like are the like most critical things. Yeah, and then as you're doing the work, the primary driver, you don't have to worry about secondary drivers like Denise said. It's just the things that you can actively do to change that area. If you want us to put up the definitions again or share that out, we can also do that in the breakout rooms. Actually, I'm going to put that in the Google Doc. But that's all I have. Danny, did you have anything?
I have a question about this process. So I'm wondering where in the driver diagram is just the basic, or it seems like it's assumed that the payment for these services is going to be sustainable for the providers of services. And so then all of these other drivers are sort of built on that basic assumption, which isn't actually necessarily true. So I feel like to have a driver diagram that doesn't put reimbursement rates that make this sustainable for the agencies doing the work, I think that needs to be in there somewhere as well.
I want to say that is completely 100% valid. And that's also why we're doing this session, because we're just we don't have the same context that you all have for doing the work. And so we know that there's going to be things that we haven't thought of or that we've missed. And so that's the purpose of this breakout session, is for you to highlight those things that we haven't yet included. And so that we can make sure that sustainability of services through funding is a very critical thing. You can't do anything if you don't have the services. So making sure that we have those types of insights and nuances baked into the driver diagram is the point of this exercise today. So anything else that you have like that we just haven't thought of, please put that in there, and we will definitely prioritize those basic things, those foundational aspects of like making the work happen over what's been here. This is what's here is currently is just a suggestion. It's purely a suggestion. You are all the ones doing the work. And so if we need to change everything that we did, then we will change it all, because this is for you.
And great, thank you very much.
I think everything that Mariah said is true, but I also would ask, and I know that, you know, a lot of folks voted on the AIM statement, but the driver diagram is the way that you kind of structure the driver diagram are the things that you can change to drive you towards your aim. And so a question I would just reflect back is enrollment the right aim? Because sustainability of services, yes, that help, like it can be a driver or a change towards enrollment. If you can't sustain your services, then you can't enroll people in them. So it could fit within, but it's just a question if enrollment really is the right thing to be moving towards, or if there's something different. So, just ponder that a little bit too, as you're thinking about these change ideas and the primary drivers that, that we are talking through.
Thanks, Danny. And I'll sort of add one more tidbit here. We want to create some structure to the work that we do, but it's not, set in stone. So, our assumption is as we continue to work together over the course of the year, we may make modifications to to our aim or to some of our, drivers. The idea is not to put a finite box around the work that we're doing, but we want to create some structure so that we can have more granular conversations about different activities that we could collaborate on that would impact a common goal. So we'll do that. And then Catherine, I think the other thing I'm thinking of too is we could probably modify that. If we don't change the aim statement, we could consider that first primary driver about expansion and transition to maybe include something. Yeah, okay. And then we also pulled these together based on feedback from everybody that we've pulled from different surveys and your initial enrollment and the PATH CPI Collaborative. Okay, so a couple of little things here. Emily just put instructions in the chat. There's a Google document for breakout sessions. If for whatever reason you cannot access, please let us know.
I did want to add one more instruction. So at the bottom of the Google Sheet is a different tab for the drivers. As you're in your groups, you have to click on each tab so that you can give feedback on that driver and that change idea. Don't just stay in one tab the entire session.
We are also going to try and be in your breakout rooms. So we're not going to just kind of dump you in a room and leave you. So we'll also be participating in the discussion. So yeah, so don't worry about jotting all of these down as far as like we must need to. Okay. And I know some folks can't access the Google Sheet. We'll just make sure that somebody in the breakout room has access. And then we'll also work through maybe an alternative in the future. I know somebody else has mentioned some firewalls prevent them from accessing certain materials. Okay, for now, we're gonna break out. We're gonna do a quick introduction when you get into your breakout rooms. You're gonna delegate somebody to do the writing and somebody to do the share out when we come back together. And you should see an invite from Emily now. And you want to go ahead and click join. And Emily, I'm just staying on for a second so that I can see folks break out into rooms. It looks like everything is working as it should. I'm going to go ahead and join my breakout room.
Lauren, are you here?
Hi, I'm here. Sorry, I had my headphones issue. I was just gonna stay. Hi there. Are you looking for a breakout room? Did you just join or did you get kicked out of one of your your breakout rooms?
I got kicked out.
Do you remember what number you were in?
No, I actually got kicked off the call of Zoom. My Wi-Fi was a little bit unstable, so I got kicked out of the call, and just as we were breaking out into groups.
Okay, I'm going to assign you to the one that has the least amount of people right now, if that's okay.
That's perfect.
Okay. Hi, you're still here, right? Sorry, I clicked the wrong button.
Oh, Carissa.
Hey, Emily. I was in breakout room 2, but my network, I think, crashed. So do you mind putting me back in breakout room 2?
Of course. Oh, it says you can already go to room 2. There you go.
There, and I'm you. Um, I don't know how everybody's session went. I definitely have some things that I didn't capture from our session that we'll circle back around to. So I'll try and add those after the fact, and then maybe what we can do is share. We'll keep coming at this document. So if folks had incomplete thoughts when we get through the group share, we'll try and spend some time making sure that they're documented consistent with the conversation. Okay, so group share. I will kind of pick on, I don't know, Emily or Mariah, if you want to call out one of the groups to go first, or if we have any volunteers.
We got 7 minutes, so let's do this quick and dirty. Group number 1.
Emily, can you remind me who group number 1 was?
I have no idea.
It's us. We were group number 1. And
Thought
Yeah,
it
we
was
were
you,
group-
and
Yeah.
others are taking notes there. Okay. Amy, do you want to share a little bit about our conversation?
So we didn't have enough time. I'll share that. It could have been a much longer breakout room I think we did maybe half of a driver and 5% of another one. And we really focused on the second one, looking at sending referrals, looking at eligibility, having a really clear eligibility, really clear referral structure, really clear process, and really kind of outlining that so that there was no surprises. And then also a pathway for rejected claims of how that gets remedied, and so that it feels equitable for all.
Thank you, Amy. I think that we were grouped through it too, but I did not fill out the Google Sheet correctly. So a couple of other takeaways outside of the fact that there wasn't enough time. We'll do some better job next time with the labeling of the breakout rooms and adding the time to actually do that work. I agree. I think we could definitely have used more time to complete that exercise. And I think that this is the work, right? So the reality is that we'll want to certainly revisit this in April. And then we'll also make sure that in our coffee chat in the next 2 weeks, that we'll spend the time, absolutely, we'll spend the time with this work over some of the other stuff. Absolutely, I completely agree with you, Dr. Shea. For some reason or another, I thought we had an hour and a half. So that's the other issue. Maybe we'll look at least in our next meeting and maybe the meeting after, where we're going to spend more time with these working sessions to see if folks can commit to an additional half an hour. I don't know where we are from a time check perspective. Emily, can you let me know? I see folks putting some of their feedback in chat.
We got 4 minutes.
So given that we only have 4 minutes, I'm not going to have folks try and rattle off their other primary driver and change ideas. We'll take the information that you all put into the document and we'll try and make it look a little bit more complete, and that it's a live document and that everybody has access to it, except for Anthem. But we'll work on providing the information in an alternative way. We'll also send out an advance of the coffee chat, and we'll spend the coffee chat time continuing this conversation. And we'll also see if we can extend our next coffee chat, because I think those are shorter. And we'll also continue the conversation in April. So for everybody, April, what we'll do, now that we all know each other, is we'll get right into the breakout sessions. And maybe we'll split the meeting in 2, and we'll have 2 breakout sessions during the meeting where we'll focus on maybe only a single primary driver for each group and maybe a single change idea. So we'll try and condense things a little bit further, but see if we can get some alignment in a collective voice and agreed upon standards. We'll also share this with you and the survey and any other materials from today. Anything that I missed that we want to cover in the last probably minute? Okay. Less icebreakers. We all know each other now, so we'll come prepared next time, ready to work. Excited to continue the conversation. Appreciate you guys and your candor. Please continue that candor on in your survey. We're not scared of critical feedback, so please definitely share your critical feedback. We'll do the best that we can to incorporate that into these sessions so that they work for you. Thank you so much, everyone, for your participation today. We'll talk to you all
Bye,
soon.
everyone.